Hey folks, so today I'm going to show you how I make a media center multiple exposure by using a whole bunch of photos that I'm going to import from my phone using AirDrop to the Sequoia Media Center computer here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and accept these photos into my downloads, and this is what we're going for. Only the first time I did it, it was imperfect, so I'm showing you how to do this in a little bit cleaner fashion. Okay, so I'm going to say close this. Let's just get rid of this one. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is very similar to what I did when we did our exposures in different colors in 5th period photo 2. So if you saw some of those pieces, this is very similar. We're going to start by saying File, Scripts, Load Files into Stack. And what that's going to do is it's going to take the pictures that I just downloaded and it's going to say, hey, let's lay them on top of each other as if we were printing them out. And I'm going to go ahead and pick 6 of them and I'm going to hit open. So you see all my files are right here. I'm not going to tell them to align because they should be aligned because we were using a makeshift tripod. And then I just let the camera do the work. Now, the person taking the photo should have known that I was cut off over there, so that one's probably going to end up getting thrown out. But you see that I'm up here on the ladder. I'm reading a book. I'm at the door. I'm in the middle. I'm on the side, and I'm on the side. So it'd be great to have one more, but I can't go back now. So for sake of example, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this one of the ladder since it's the brightest. We're going to move that to the bottom, and that's going to be my background. Okay, and actually this is a really good one for the background, so I could keep this one. So anyway, so that's the one that's showing. The photo that's showing on the top tells me that I want to keep just me, and because there's a tripod, everything else should line up really well. Okay, so I'm going to start with an example that's a little bit more properly exposed. Okay, so on this image I'm going to add a mask, and you'll see that the background is white. What I want to do is I want to just use my brush and I want to paint out the part I want to keep. Okay, so using black, that tells the mask to create a hole where I paint. So I'm going to paint right here, and you see because it's perfectly lined up, it's not perfect, you can see that it looks pretty much just like behind it. Only I want to keep myself, so I'm going to invert that mask. So I press Command I, and you see now I am in that overexposed image. Okay, so I'm going to leave it and we're going to come back to it later because I'm probably going to use a darker image. So let's go ahead and add a mask on this image, and again I'm going to paint on the part that I want to keep. Okay, so you see it just sort of erases me because it's really stable. So it's still, you see a ladder there, and if I hit Command I, now there's 3 of me. Now because it's a little bit lighter around, I'm going to go ahead and perfect this, and I'll explain this a little bit more in person. So to add in the part behind it, I'm going to paint back on the mask using black. Okay, so right now if you look over at the mask, the little tiny white part is me poking through the mask. And again, the exposures weren't exact, so if you're using a real camera, you'll be able to control this more. I was just using my iPhone for sake of the example, and also because the smaller files make it a little bit easier. And now you see that the exposure that we're using is the one of me reading this book on the top of the page. So that's actually pretty cool. This sort of looks fake. And so I also want people to think like, wait, no, she really is having multiple personalities in this picture. So I would actually click on this image, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up my blacks a little bit just to make it look a little realer. There, that looks a little bit better. Okay, so you'll notice here that I clicked on the actual image to do any image adjustments, but I clicked on the mask to work on the reveal. Okay, so same thing with me over here by the door. I'm going to click on that image, okay, because that was me at the door, and I'm going to go ahead and just, with that one, I'm going to make it a little bit lighter, but also a little more contrasty. Okay, so then I can go back on the mask, make sure I click off the photo and onto the mask, and I can clean up this area around the door where it looks like it's sort of becoming a ghost. Now if you really look closely, you'll see that I just bungled that and I took away half of my head. Okay, so see, oops, I could be headless horseman over there. I want to make sure that my head is showing, and then only the real true experts are going to know what's going on over here, but I like to make sure everything lines up so the door gets filled back in. And again, that's because I am modifying the opening of the mask. So we are creating this hole and this reveal. Okay, so I think that actually looks better. So let's go. So now I've got 3 people. Okay, so now let's go back to this new image. So I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to move this one to the bottom. And on this picture, again, I'm going to create a mask. It's white. If I paint with black using B for my brush, I'm going to paint over. Oh, sorry, let me turn these off so you can see. I'm going to paint. I see what I did. Sorry. I was painting white on white. And so what happens when you paint white on white? Nothing, as you just saw. So if I press X, you'll see that my colors switched. Over here, I inverted my color palette. So now I'm painting black on white, which creates a hole. And this is a perfect example where I really just disappeared. Because I used the tripod, it's so much easier. But the goal is to see what I just painted over. So I'm going to invert my mask. And there I am. Now there's 4 of me. So this is actually a really great example. I'm really happy with it. What happened on this last one, though, is that she cut me off, I think, on this one too much. And so I don't think I should include that one. And then I kind of want to see what that 5th one is. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm actually just going to probably call it a day right here without this one. Okay, but just for fun, I could show you how to do that. So I'm adding a mask, I'm painting on black, and she cut me off, right? So then it's okay, but because I have the tripod, it works so well that I can just go ahead and paint myself out and then invert it, and now there are 5 of me. So that's pretty cool. Okay, this last one is me over here. I'm dying to see, oh, I know, I think below it is just a plain image. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Option and just this one, and it shows me that there were actually 7 images, which is great. So I'm going to go ahead and do a mask here. Okay, and that's on this one right here, painting black. Again, it works. You can see how easy it is when you use a tripod, that it just really looks like you just erased yourself. I probably should have made sure that dust thing was gone. I'm going to invert it, and then I can spend some time making this match a little better. And I can change my brush, make the brush harder or softer. So I'm going to go ahead and make the brush a little bit harder, and I'm going to paint back in the black. So when I paint in the black, it gives me a better edge, and then I can paint different colors. If I paint black, I'm taking this out, right, to reveal below, and you just kind of go back and forth as much as you want. Now, clearly this image was a little bit darker, and that's why the white doesn't match. So instead of spending all that time, I'm just going to go ahead and adjust my levels a little bit till the white sort of matches, and that's going to fit better. Okay, so you see like a little bit more contrast, fits where I was with the light right there. It's not perfect, but it's okay. And then now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of me. And now the final step is to save this. I'm going to keep it as a PSD. I really don't love how this me is less or overexposed than this me. So I'm going to actually go to this last one here, and I'm going to try to adjust that to match so I don't look so orange. And I think that's just, it's part light, part bright, part lights in the library, part just the exposure. And so I just want to make that a little bit cleaner. And this is, again, since I'm doing this so quickly, you would obviously spend a lot more time doing this and making it perfect. And then you might find little areas that you need to fix. So for instance, right here, something's happening. I see my shirt is not quite clean. So I'm going to first check this mask by using my brush. I'm going to paint on it, and it looks like it is clean. So it must be something on that layer back there. So I'm going to go back to this one, and yep, if I click on that, I need to make it black to get rid of that. So see that? There was something from that layer showing up. Also, there's something on my shirt right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn on and off the other layers to see which one might be revealing that. And it looks like it's going to be this one right here. Okay. Oh, I see. So that tells me that I just had a little bit of opacity here. So I need to go back to this, make sure it's white, and then just clean it up like that. Okay, so that's a pretty great example Now I'm going to file, save as the Photoshop file. So I'm going to say Miss Snow Media, or actually let's do this. Let's do SHSMC multiple exposure 2019. All right, so I saved that obviously as a PSD, put it on my desktop so that I have it. But then if I want to go ahead and post it or do something cool with it, I should export it to a JPEG. I really want to go in and just lighten up this one in the middle. I don't love that one. But again, there's only so much you can do when you're on your iPhone, right? So again, if I had used a real camera, I might have used a flash. I might have had better light here. And since that's just not my priority today, it's just not, you know, I wanted to get this so I could show you the tutorial. I think this works fine. So again, file, save, because it's already saved as a PSD. And now I'm going to do export, quick export. I could do as a ping, which would be really small, but I'm also just going to do export as, and then it's going to ask me what I want to do, and I'm going to save it as a JPEG. Okay, and that way it'll be great. It's going to ask me where to go, desktop. And now many of you wonder, like, well, how do you get it to your phone so quickly to push it out to social media? So then I go to my desktop, right? And here it is in a minute. So I'm just going to go ahead and airdrop that back to my phone. And you should see in a minute that when I hit my phone, B Snow's iPhone shows up. I should click it once, not twice. Okay. And it's going, and then I press accept on my phone, and voila, I have that done. Okay, thanks for listening.